What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Sunday night's late night agenda. As always, I'm your host Craig, and look, I would say I hope you're all keeping well, but let's be honest, it's been a tough 24 hours, folks, hasn't it? I mean, 2-0 home defeat in the derby, Hendo out injured, the injury crisis worsens, 4 losses on the trot at Anfield after going unbeaten for 66, 67 games. Yeah, it's been a tough 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm sure you're all like me and probably didn't get too much sleep last night. My frustration definitely carried on late into the night. But, we'll go through it tonight and we'll pick the bones out of it. We'll look ahead to the game next weekend against Sheffield United as well. And look, we'll see how you're all feeling. As always, massive thank you to our sponsors, Boyle Sports, without whom we wouldn't be able to do these shows. So much love to the guys over at Boyle. But look, how are we all feeling? As always, this is the show for you guys to put your questions in. We interact, we have a little bit of fun, and we try and make each other feel a bit better, I suppose, about life, because it is a tough time for us Reds at the minute. What have we got? We better get 3 points there. We have to. Mate, I mean, I was looking at it yesterday. 13 games to go, 39 points to play for. I think we probably realistically need between 28 and 30 points to get that top 4 spot. And even at that, I'm probably looking at 4th with that prediction. So there's a lot of hard work to be done, a lot of questions to be answered, a lot of soul searching to be done at Kirby. And it's so frustrating, confusing, annoying. You see the performance against Leipzig, you see the performances before that away against West Ham and Spurs, and you're starting to think, okay, we're getting back to ourselves. And then Fortress Anfield just falls apart, and we're beaten in a derby at Anfield for the first time in, Christ, I can't remember how many years it is, 25 odd years. I think it's 95, was it? Something like that, or is that the last time they won a trophy? I don't pay much attention to Everton stuff, but fuck me, it's been a long time anyway, and it came to a shuddering halt yesterday, and it hurt. I mean, there's a lot of Liverpool fans, Connor included, have never seen Liverpool lose a derby at home to Everton in the league. And I was talking with Jack Gill again last night, another young Liverpool fan who you know from the channel, and he's never seen it. 22 years, there you go. Never seen Liverpool lose at home in the league against Everton, and they tasted it yesterday, and both of them came back to me with the same thing and said, you know what? This fucking hurts. And it does hurt. It hurt a lot. There's no moaning, there's no looking for scapegoats, any of that from me. We were beaten, we lost the game, but we've got to go about putting it right, and the real question is, how can we do that? How can Klopp start to put things right? Yes, there's some good news with Diogo Jota starting to come back, Fabinho starting to come back, Keita being in the matchday squad yesterday was great news as well. But just as when you're looking for some positives, Hendo goes off with what looks like a groin injury, and we're not sure as of yet how long he'll be out for. And here's a statistic for you folks. When we brought Nat Phillips on yesterday to partner Ozan Kabak, that was the 18th different centre-back pairing that Jurgen Klopp has gone with this season, or has had to play this season. 18th different centre-back pairing. Like, if there's one place in the pitch that you want stability, it's with your centre-back partnership. And we've had 18 different partnerships this season because of injuries and whatnot. So it is a season that I can't remember the likes of it, honestly, for injuries and stuff. But that is no excuse. You're Liverpool Football Club. You're the defending Premier League champions. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Even as stretched as we are, we should still, be doing better than we have been. There's no... I'm not going to use excuses. All I want is solutions, and I'm sure you guys are the same. Sheffield United is the first stepping stone. Absolutely, pal. This resurgence, if we're going to have one, has to start from somewhere. Nat Phillips is a great player, said Joanne. He's not the level of what we need, but he's certainly made an impact when he came on yesterday. You could see the hunger in him, and he was winning his aerial duels. And oh God, I'm just so, I suppose, disappointed is the word to use. When will Jota be back? Told me to come on here at 9, and you're here, and I did, and I will answer your question as promised. The answer is, he's not too far away. He'll start, I think we'll probably see some more stuff this week. I think the return leg against maybe the Chelsea game. I mean, I wouldn't rule out the Chelsea game for Diogo Jota being back, but when he does come back, like anything else, he won't just go straight into the starting 11. He'll have to be, brought on as a substitute, given 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then we'll perhaps see him get a start. But yeah, it's so tough right now to find positives, and I always try to look for some, but And, next season we can talk about all that stuff, but the big fight now is to make sure Liverpool have Champions League football next year. And as we sit here right now, after watching United going and beating Newcastle 3-1, we're in a fight, and it's going to be very, very tough, folks. I'm not under any illusions that we've any God-given right for a top 4 spot. No, we've got to scrap and fight our way to get there and show heart. And, it could be one of the biggest tests that this group have had yet since their time together. Craig, say we don't get Champions League, who would your targets be? Well, you can forget about the Mbappes of this world, obviously. You are then still looking at maybe Rafinha, maybe, I would say Harvey Barnes, but Leicester probably be in the Champions League. So let's say Rafinha, then you're looking at Patson Daka perhaps from Salzburg. Could you tempt Pedro Neto maybe? I don't know. Maybe for the right money from Wolves. Yeah, but you're certainly, to be fair, the Liverpool have never really been a club that go out and often buy established, real top 10 players in the world. We usually buy talent and coach them to become, world beaters. But Jesus, it's tough right now. I won't lie to you, folks. This has been a very, very difficult couple of months for us, hasn't it? We're still in the Champions League. I think we can win it, said Dinesh Karai from Team India #1 in Test cricket. I love the way you get that little dig in at the end about cricket. Yeah, look, of course we are, and we've got a 2-goal lead to take back to Anfield for the second legs. We kept a clean sheet away from home. Hopefully we'll steer away past Leipzig, and then you're in the quarterfinals, and it's the luck of the draw, and anything can happen. You're right, but I certainly wouldn't be relying on the winning the Champions League as a way to get back into Europe. You've got to fight on both fronts. Keita needs to start against Sheffield United. I agree, Dan. Absolutely, I agree. Rafinha, come on, we can do better than that. Not if we've got Europa League football, mate. That was the question I was answering. I want Mbappe, I want Haaland, I want Sancho, I want them type of players, of course I do. But the question was asked, if we don't get Champions League football, where will we be shopping? And that's probably the type of market we'll be looking at. We've always had to fight, Craig. That's what we did, but maybe believe in the hype a little bit, thinking we're special. We fought so hard the past, think we forgot how being champions means now. Yeah, look, it's been so difficult because January, February has been the capitulation. That's been where we've fucking thrown everything away. And you ask yourself, could it have been halted if we had have went on January the 1st or 2nd and went out and got centre-backs? Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it certainly wouldn't have hurt. So there are questions to be asked from that perspective. You can address the injury issues, of course. You can talk about fitness levels, and you can talk about 3-4 year cycles of players coming to an end. But I think there's no one sentence answer. I think it's the culmination of a lot of things that have just come together and seen us where we are. But we got to, as Kate said, we've got to start looking at a fight back, and we've got to start looking at how we can right these wrongs and how we can start playing ourselves back into the form that we know they're capable of. This possession-based football is not working, said Graham. I would like to see us be more direct at times, mate, with running at defenders. I've spoken about that a lot. And I don't think it's a case. A lot of people are trying to say Klopp's been figured out what happened in his time at Dortmund. I don't really think that's the case. There's certainly a little aspect of truth to it, but again, I still think I go back to this cycle of teams, the great United sides, the great Barcelona sides, the great Arsenal sides, the Real Madrid sides, City sides, whoever. They go in cycles, and there is always a drop-off in 1 year. The real question is do you throw your toys out with the pram as owners and sack the manager, which of course they won't do a Klopp. They'd be ridiculous to do it. But you do need to bring in fresh legs. You do need to bring in fresh minds. You do need to bring in people who maybe haven't heard Klopp's motivation before, and things can get stale at football clubs. I'd be absolutely the first one to admit that, but I'm not saying it's because we're found out or it's because of the manager. I think it's just a mixture of a lot of things. Father time, tired legs, mental drain, the level we've played at for the past 3 and 4 years, and it needs to have a shake-up in the summer. But I don't mean a wholesale clear round, I mean a shake-up. We've a good enough team next season to win the Premier League if we don't get Europe and add a few players, said Dinesh. Yeah, I'm somebody who would rather not get any European football than play in the Europa League. I know that's a little bit controversial perhaps, but the only positive I can see from playing in the Europa League is that you maybe give the youngsters a chance to get more competitive action at a higher level than playing in the reserves or playing the under-23s, or that's it. Other than that, it's a headache. Thursday, Sunday football, traipsing your way around Europe to places that aren't very glamorous at times, and yeah, you can say you can win the Europa League and get into the Champions League, but I'd rather not be in the Europa League and just get in there on league position the following season if that was the case. So, my maybe controversial take on it is I'd rather know European football than to play in the Europa League. Gini's gone one way or the other. You say Gini will go if we don't get Champions League football. He's out the door. I mean, I won't speak badly of Gini Wijnaldum because he's been an absolute pro at Liverpool, but he's gone. You can forget about him signing a new deal. What are your thoughts on how long the referee checked the monitor for? See, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that sits here trying to begrudge Everton a win. I mean, I don't like losing a derby, but I don't want to be that guy that tries to find scapegoats because I'm fucking used as one enough, so I know what it feels like. I don't think it was a penalty. I made that clear yesterday. The referee's decision is the only one that matters, and I don't know, even if it hadn't been given, would we have gotten back into the game, because we didn't look like we were going to score at times yesterday. I don't think if you're talking about just that one aspect of his time at the monitor, he wasn't there long enough. But he had his mind made up one way or the other, so I don't think that was going to make any difference. Again, another fucking genius trying to come in to slag off Liverpool and can't spell the word suck. 4 letters, mate. 4 letters. That's all you had to come up with. 4 letters. And again, as with all trolls, just seem to be Omadon-tastic, as I'm going to use from now on, mate. So, again, Uncle Craig will put you through Liverpool's Craig Holden's school of trolling, because you're clearly in need of a pal. So, just learn. Suck. It's a 4-letter word, pal. Are we at risk of losing first teamers if we don't get Champions League football? Yes, of course. I mean, we'll have this conversation on the Anfield Agenda podcast on Tuesday when myself, Jack Gill and Steve Bland will talk about that very thing. And yeah, you could be, but there's 2 ways of looking at that. I mean, you phrased it as would we be... what was your exact words? Would we be at risk of losing first team footballers? There's 2 ways of looking at it. There's that side, which is a fair question, and is it time to shake up some of these first team footballers and bring in new blood? So, it's a double-edged sword, and I think that there are valid answers on either side of it. Would you start Tsimikas against Sheffield United because Robbo needs some rest? It's so difficult, isn't it? Because he's a bit of an unknown quantity. We need to start getting wins from somewhere. I don't know what the manager's seen in training, so it's very difficult to comment. Probably no. If I'm being honest, I'd probably stick with the fullbacks because we need as much defensive stability as we can get. And with having, as I said at the start of the stream, 18 different centre-back pairings this year, you at least want your fullbacks to know what they're at with regards to attacking and defending. So, no, I wouldn't change them. Has Grujic a chance? No, not from what I've read. Again, I don't claim to have inside knowledge on this, but it looks like Grujic has been primed for a sale. Again on loan at Porto, doing well, gaining valuable experience, but I don't think so. No, I don't think, unfortunately, there's a path to Grujic. I don't think he got a fair chance at Liverpool either, if I'm being bluntly honest. Craig, is Oxlade-Chamberlain the same player he was before the injury? No. We've not seen it of him. I'll give you a blunt list. I mean, I'll lay the cards out on the table. These are the players I wouldn't be broken-hearted to see Liverpool sell. Origi, Shaqiri, Matip, Chamberlain. I'm just thinking through the squad. I'd keep Milner around just because his experience can do a job even at that age. Wouldn't be a starter. He'd have to understand that. There's questions about Keita, and they're valid questions. I'm a Keita supporter. I think that he'll be good if he can keep his body in one piece. Adrian, move him on. Bring back Harvey Elliott. Matip, did I say Matip? I'd sell Matip. That's my list of players that I think there's a valid argument for selling. If you can find buyers and the right money, of course. Is Ben Davies playing Suma back? I've got no idea. I've got no idea, man. None. Now, Jack Gill did speak with Darren McAnthony, who is a Liverpool fan, Peterborough United owner, and he, from what he's seen, he likes to look at Davies and thinks that he should get a chance. Again, a lot of this is what you see in training from the manager as well. Has your opinion on FSG changed this season? No, mate, it hasn't, because I understand that owners will make mistakes. I'm not somebody who, as much as I'm an emotional person, big picture stuff I try and take a step back and look at. But I tell you what, the summer will certainly form an opinion for me on the owners, how they act this summer. That will certainly go a long way to how a lot of, I think, Liverpool fans form a new opinion of the owners. They've delivered us Klopp, they've delivered us a new stand, they delivered us the Annie Road End, new training ground, Champions League title, Premier League title, Super Cup, Club World Cup, but they've also made mistakes. But this summer for me will be the big deciding factor. They need to go big or go home, for want of a better phrase. And I don't mean go home like fuck off back to America, you know what I mean? Like go big. They need to have a summer where they spend some money. And yes, we've been excellent in the way we've gone about transfers, and yes, our net spend before Harvey Elliott, since we've won the Champions League, is like 1 million in profit or something. But we should be able to dip our hands in our pockets and, you know, go out there and spend some money. So I'm intrigued to see what happens in the summer. And it is frustrating that we didn't get centre-backs in earlier in the January window when every single person knew we needed centre-back cover, and it was left right to the end when Matip was out with ligament damage. And in that period between January and now is when our league's fallen apart. Our league title defence just absolutely fell apart. The difference between our bench yesterday and City's bench is something we need to fix. There is, yeah, there's a big drop off, but if you go through the list, if you look at our full squad, if everybody was fit, there's squad depth there. Now, there's still areas we can absolutely get better at and players we can move on. I'm not saying we've got the complete squad, but when you have everybody fit and available, we've still got a damn good squad. So no matter what, next season will be competitive. But we need to go out there and shake things up a bit and get rid of players like Origi and Shaqiri, who may have a little impact every now and again, but you know, they aren't going to have the impact, let's say, that Jota had when he came in. And we've seen him really push the lads at times and, you know, become the go-to forward for that period that he was there himself, and Salah were banging in goals. And there are players that, as much as we have time for them and like them, they're just not good enough. Just for whatever reason, like Lallana, I'll always have nothing but respect for Adam Lallana, but his time was up at Liverpool. Father Time had caught up with him. The team had progressed on, and you can make arguments for other players in the same way. It doesn't mean we have to belittle them. It doesn't mean we have to call them dead wood, but we do have to be fucking ruthless, because football is a ruthless business. Elliot, I'm looking forward to coming back as well to see what he can do, Kate. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. Do you think we'll get top four? I'm 50-50. If I'm really cards on the table, I'm 50-50 on that one. Looking at the league table, it ain't pretty. And I tell you what, this game against Chelsea coming up is going to be... If you lose that, you can forget it. Like, to me, that's it. If we win that game, we've got a good show. If we lose it, I think we can nearly forget about it unless we win every other game between then and the end of the season. How many signings? It's so difficult to say till you know how many have moved out, but let's talk 3 minimum. And I mean, you know, a centre-back, a wide forward, and an attacking midfielder or a centre-forward minimum. Now, the reason I say attacking midfielder or a centre-forward is I've got no problem moving Mohamed Salah through the centre and playing him as our forward and bringing in somebody to play in that right wing. But that's a minimum for me. And that's before you really look at the right-back situation and ask, is Nico going to be a real challenger to Trent? So you can talk about that. You can look at the midfield as well and talk about, you know, Gini's leaving. Well, Jones is there, but to me, in my head, Jones was the Lallana replacement in the squad, I mean, not in positional sense. So there's pluses and negatives. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom long term. Right now it is, but long term it isn't. And I always try to be positive, but it's, you know, there's two ways. We've been spoiled a little bit in the standards we've set ourselves and we've seen the players play with over the last 3 and 4 years, which I think makes the low points and the defeat to Everton and the loss to United and the FA Cup loss makes those type of things much, much harder to take, because you know what we're capable of, and to drop to where we dropped to, you don't recognise the team, and that's what frustrates a lot of us. There's one thing we've always known about this group, is that they don't give up. They don't give in. They fight till the very death. And there's just a lack of leadership at times, and I don't want to be Mr. Negative on here. I'm being Mr. Realist, though. I've already answered the top four, man. I think it's 50-50 with regards to whether we can get it or not. Someone said John W. Henry out, you won't spend a penny. See, it's not necessarily about net spend again, mate, because we've won what we've won by selling and buying. So there are there are pluses to both sides of this. There are, like, we can spend clever and still compete. But yeah, we do need to have a positive. You know, we do need to be spending more money than we've brought in transfers this summer. I agree with that one, but you know, we've been good at what we've done, and we just need to not lose our minds, but go a little bit bigger. I think it's fair to say. Just roll the dice a little bit. Is Genie leaving? All signs seem to point to yes, although we've had no confirmation. You know, the situation with Genie Wijnaldum is this. As of January, he can sign a pre-contract with any club outside the Premier League, and he doesn't even have to tell Liverpool, because he's a free agent. So they're the rules, and I don't know if he has or has not signed a deal with Barcelona. I honestly couldn't tell you, but it is looking like day by day, week by week, he's leaving by the looks of it. FSG use moneyball. Horseshit. We don't, because moneyball only works with regards to baseball. If you knew anything about the moneyball system and really looked into it, it doesn't work in football. They're not comparable, because it's a statistical driven model. And yes, of course, Liverpool do use statistics, but you know, there's also an old fashioned coaching, and old fashioned scouting that's used there. So again, somebody who throws the moneyball word around it, it's just lazy, and it's not true, and it does a massive disservice to Dave Fallows, to Michael Edwards, to the recruitment team, and the work that they put in. And it's just lazy. It's just a cheap dig at the owners, and it's not true. It's just not a comparable formula to move from baseball to football. We should have a better bench, said Mustafa. I don't disagree with that, mate, but we would have if we didn't have injuries as well. So again, it's kind of a double-edged sword. What is unforgivable, and I'm a hypocrite on this, by the way, and I'll hold my hands up as a hypocrite. What is unforgivable, big picture, is to go into a season with 3 senior centre-backs and not replace Dejan Lovren. Now, again, my hypocrisy comes because I did say in the summer that I thought it was a gamble worth taking if it meant we got Thiago and we got Diogo Jota in, because I did not foresee Van Dijk and Gomez being out for the season. I mean, but that's, as a fan, I'm an optimist. The club, you know, if you're talking about being the biggest club in England, you're talking about, you know, being a world beater. Well, would other massive clubs in Europe leave themselves potentially that short? I don't know. So there are questions there, and valid questions. Neil Kavanagh, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Said, time to be ruthless. Players who have served us well don't deserve a place in the squad anymore. Firmino needs to go. And look, somebody asked me that. I was doing a stream earlier on. Somebody asked me about that, and I told them to ask me at 9 o'clock. Bobby Firmino was my favourite player at the club. But would I sell him? Unless he dramatically improves between now and the end of the season, yes, I would. And I don't like saying that. But there's not been enough from him this season for me. And look, of course, we can pick a lot of players and say they haven't been at the brilliant best. But yeah, the honest answer is, if you got the money you were happy with, and you look at the front three, and you've got Salah, and you've got Mane, and you've got Firmino, as important as Firmino has been to the press, to the counter-attacking football we play, to the link-up play, he's probably, yeah. And I don't like saying it because I love the lad, but it looks like, of the three, he's probably the one that's shown signs of wear and tear and maybe decline. Is that a fair point? I know we'll all look at this in a different way, and it is a conversation that we can have. I love Bobby, said Harry, as do I, mate, my favourite player. Matthew Price, you, my friend, are a dickhead and can go fuck yourself. And see you later, mate. Sorry, I just have to deal with the odd troll every now and again, just to vent to my own frustrations. I'd probably sell Firmino, said TTV Klopp. Without Jota saving us at the start of the season, we'd be mid-table right now. Probably not too far off mid-table, mate, anyway. Klopp needs to be cutthroat in the summer. I don't care about sentiment anymore. Fahim, I'm with you on that, mate. I think that's a fair point. Can't sell Bobby, said George. See, I can understand how this divides opinion, and rightly so, because we know what he's capable of as well with Bobby. Rowan said he'll be 30 this year. Fair play, Craig. You're a class guy, said JJH. Thank you, pal. Appreciate that. What do I stream with? If you mean the software, we use OBS, mate, and OBS and a green screen. If you're talking about other stuff, I can tell you all the equipment I used. I don't know which way you're asking the question, mate, but for our streams we use OBS for the green screen and stuff, if that's what you're asking. Sell Matip, I agree, Ryan, absolutely. Not just defence a big issue, midfield needs fiction. Yeah, it does, but it kind of goes hand in hand, because the midfield has been weakened because we've had to put two of our starting midfielders back into defence at times, and you don't have that shield of Fabinho there, so, and Henderson as well alongside Thiago or Keita or Jones or whoever you prefer in that midfield trio. So I think they both go hand in hand a little bit. Mane had his worst game ever yesterday, and I love him as a player, said Pat Moynihan. Firmino plus 20 million for Haaland. I don't know if that would be something that, like, Dortmund are looking to invest in young players. I know they've brought in a few older ones back, but they're mainly looking to bring through the next young generation. So I don't know. Even the thoughts of selling Firmino makes me sad. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Shane said you can say what you want. Firmino's finish is a top level, does not contribute anything. Well, that's a little bit harsh, mate. I mean, to say he doesn't contribute anything is a little bit harsh. Now, I don't disagree that he's on the decline, and I don't disagree with the potential of selling him, but to say he doesn't contribute anything, I think, is being very unfair to him. Philip Hunt said, I'm super confident due to West Ham, Chelsea and Leicester's future fixtures we'll get top four. However, this summer must be the biggest ever. I love your optimism, Philip, and I agree with you on the summer, mate. We've got to go big this summer. And not just reactionary because of the injuries and all, because, like, we haven't been spending big money for quite a while, and it is the time to do it. Patrick Bamford, by him, no. Nowhere near good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club, mate. Nowhere near good enough. Just my opinion, of course, you're entitled to your own one, but God, it did make me smile when I read that. What have we got? Neil Kavanagh, thank you for the super chat. I love Bobby. He doesn't have the legs anymore, sadly. Unfortunately, I'm tending to agree, Neil, as much as I love the man as well. Will I ever kill Sonic? Now that's banter, mate. I enjoyed that. Well played. If I could catch a little fucker off a golfer, yeah, maybe. But that's proper banter. I enjoy that type of stuff, mate. Well played. Would I take Coutinho back? Not a chance in hell. Drop Bobby into midfield and play Origi, Shaqiri and someone else as centre forward. There is that option as well, absolutely. I want to play Salah through the centre next season. I've said that even this season when Jota comes back. What have we got? If we don't go big in the summer, I think FSG could come under fierce scrutiny, as do I. And I think fairly, Kieran, because I try to be balanced in my opinions of the owners, and I think that would be fair. If they don't, pony up this summer and back the manager, I agree. They should come under some scrutiny. Do I think players like James Maddison would work out at Liverpool? Yes, of course. I mean, Maddison's a very good footballer, but the proper answer there is that there's probably better value to be had looking outside of the Premier League, particularly at Leicester, who are a club that are very good at getting top dollar for the players. So yes, there are options, and I love a player like Maddison that can link up play like that's not afraid of a shot, decent with a set piece, but you pay that premium. And again, would Leicester sell? Do you reckon Gini will leave? Yes. Koeman likely to get the sack. Look, I've told you all season, whatever happened, when the next Barcelona president comes in, the plan is for Xavi to be the next manager of Barcelona. So I've said that for 9 months now. I said this since Koeman got the job, sorry, that he's only there for the season at the most. And Victor Font, or whoever's voted in as the next Barcelona president, will be looking to install Xavi Hernandez as the next manager of Barcelona. And Koeman's only ever been a stopgap, which is why I don't understand why he took the job. Bamford's way better than Bobby. Of course he is, mate. Of course he is. Oh, that does make me smile. Would you honestly? That's just nonsense. I bet a lot on Bamford this season for him to score, and he scored some worldies, and he's had some wank games as well, mate. So if you look back over both of their careers, don't even try and tell me Patrick Bamford's had a better career so far than Bobby Firmino. That's ridiculous. Do I want Gini to leave? No, of course I don't want him to leave. He's been a mainstay of our midfield, and he, wouldn't cost us a transfer fee, albeit it would cost us a hefty signing on fee. And how much would it cost us to replace him? But on the other side of it, it does look like he is leaving. Do you think Nat Phillips leaving in the summer? 100%. Was very close to going last summer. I think Swansea, Bristol, and a couple of other Championship clubs just didn't get the money we wanted for him at the time. But yeah, he's going to move on. By Ollie Watkins. No, you're alright, mate. I'll pass on that one as well. For us, again, I don't mean to belittle any of these players at their clubs. I'm just saying not at Liverpool. Fabinho's so underrated. He's amazing. He honestly is, man. To be able to go back and play at centre back as good as he is and be a defensive midfielder, he's quality, and I can't wait to have him back. If we finish 5th, would you be hoping for City to win the Champions League so we'll qualify for it? We wouldn't qualify for it. There's a massive misconception amongst some fans. The only way that Liverpool will get into the Champions League, if somebody in England won it, is if they won the Champions League and did not finish in the top 4 in the Premier League. City are going to win the Premier League. So if they were to go on and win the Champions League, it'd still only be 4 English clubs in the Champions League, because City would have gotten their place through the league table as well. So it wouldn't drop down to 5th. At least that's my understanding of it. City would have to finish outside the top 4 and win the Champions League. Other words, nothing changes. So yeah, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up with that, but that's my understanding of that situation anyway, is that it would take, let's say, Chelsea to win the Champions League and finish 5th for that to happen. Once Fabinho and Van Dijk come back, so many problems will be fixed. Thoughts on signing De Jong? Very good player. Would Barcelona sell him so soon when they're going through a rebuild and he's young? So probably not is the answer with regards to them selling, even though they're in financial turmoil. But would I take him? Yes, absolutely. Henderson can play centre midfield, central defensive midfield, and centre back. Yeah, he's amazing. Again, some of our players are so versatile that it almost comes back to haunt them at times, because they can play in so many positions. Yusuf said, mark my words, we'll win the league next year. I hope you're right, buddy. I really do. Score predictions for Atletico versus Chelsea. I think it'll be a tight affair. So I'm going to go 1-1. I will be doing a watch along of that game on Mundo Sport on Tuesday. I think 1-1 maybe in that one. Would I take Sarr from Watford? We've been linked with him a lot. I think we even looked into, if I remember Melissa Reddy's article right, I think we looked in to getting him in the summer, and they wanted a hefty fee and all of it up front. So I'm sure we're still tracking him, mate. Daka I would take, David. I would take Patson Daka. Should we sign Haaland or Mbappe? Of course we should. We should sign both of them, but would we is the question. Not if we don't get Champions League football, that's for sure. Depay is a free agent. He's gone to Barcelona. I think no matter what happens, if Barcelona want him, Depay will go there. Would I like Gio Reyna? Yes, and Gio Reyna is somebody the club are tracking. Young Gio Reyna playing at Dortmund. Klopp's a fan of his, and the club have been tracking him for quite a while. So it's a good shout, that one, mate. But I've yet to see anything to suggest a possible bid. But definitely Liverpool are fans of the lad. Do you think we've a chance in the Champions League? 100%. Absolutely, man. Champions League is such an open competition that you can't write anybody off. You just have to hit form at the right time. We've gone away from home, gotten a good 2-0 first leg lead, and should make our way through to the quarterfinals, all going to plan. And from there, Do you know what I mean? It's 5 games away from lifting that trophy. Why aren't Liverpool spending big? There's a whole myriad of answers, from COVID to the owners to um, the effect of 3 million quid a week being lost by not having players or fans inside the stadium, to television money having to be refunded. But still, we should have spent money. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to give a balanced view. Neto from Wolves will be a good addition to the squad. He would. He looks a very good player. A little bit greedy at times, but you kind of want to see that in an attacking player a little bit as well. Do you think we should focus on the Champions League? No, it's too risky. It's far too risky to just focus on anything. We need to try and fight on both fronts. Liverpool need to sign Tony. Okay, we'll move on from that. Bayern, when they noticed Ribery and Robben were in the decline, had Gnabry and Coman. Exactly. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be vicious. Alright, mate, you're pissing me off now with your spamming. Mods, can you get rid of Jonathan, please, there for me? With his constant spamming of the same nonsense that nobody gives a fuck about. He's still in there. Okay, I'll do it myself. Hang on. Cheers, TTV Klopp. Do you think Leipzig can make a comeback? Can they? Yes. Will they? I don't think so. You can never say never. I mean, look what we did to Barcelona. So you can never say never in football, but I would be astonished if we fuck that up. Honestly, I think we'll get through. Do you think we'll reach Europa League, Champions League? I might have a different opinion to other people on this, but I'd rather know European football than playing Europa League, because it's a distraction that would just... the only positive is that you might get to play younger players and give them some game time. Apart from that, nah, I'd rather not have European football. Do I think we can make Champions League? 50-50 as of right now. I think the Chelsea game, obviously you got to beat Sheffield United as well, but that Chelsea game is huge, and we cannot but win that game if we really want to have a Champions League place next season, which is just sad even to be sitting here saying that when we were 5 points clear, 2 months ago? We've been terrible at Anfield. Yeah, I mean, to go as many games as we did unbeaten and then lose 4 in a row. I think 1923, something like that, the last time since we've done that. What's the news on Hendo? There's no confirmation that I'm aware of, Mark, yet. Looks like a groin injury, something like that, abductor groin injury. Evan Corkin said, I think we should play a 4-2-3-1 formation against Sheffield United with Fabinho and Thiago in the 6. Then who's playing centre back? Yeah, we move. If Fabinho comes back, I guarantee you he's playing centre back, mate, alongside Kabak. Leipzig won 3-0 today. I know. I checked the result, mate, just to see what their form was like. I'd seen that they'd won 3-0. Again, don't spam it, mate, or you'll get kicked out of our chat because it's the right thing to do. So stop spamming. Put your comment in. If it doesn't get read out, wait a few minutes, have another go. But yeah, spamming's not going to last you long in here, pal, because we try to give everybody a fair chance and get as many comments through as we can. Not only Bayern have done it, but Juve, look at how much. Yeah, but Juve are, let's be honest, Mustafa, Juve are pants this season. They're nowhere near as good as they have and should be. So look, they are a good example of a team that have built well and won at like nine Scudettos in a row. But it doesn't look like they're going to make it 10 this year. How do I feel about today's Premier League result? Well, obviously United won, so that's not great for us in our chase for a top 4. City beating Arsenal, well, it was expected, and I don't think Arsenal are really in the Champions League race. It just strengthens City's grip on the Premier League title, to be honest with you, this season. Right, I'm going to do a couple more minutes, folks, and then I'm going to call it a night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another late night agenda tomorrow. And we're going to be recording tomorrow as well. We're going to be recording the assumptions about Craig. So Connor's been asking people to send in a load of their assumptions about me, and he's going to, I don't know what they are yet, but he's going to send them to me live in a video, and I'll answer them, and we should have a bit of fun with that one as well. West Ham are doing very well, yeah. I mean, full credit to the job that Moyes has done there, and to get them up there 5 points clear of us, I think, if my memory's correct, deserves credit. Do I solely put Liverpool problems down to the defence? No, not at all. There's a whole. It's a very complex situation, mate. That deals with, yes, the defence, but yes, losing players from midfield to play in the defence, which then has a knock-on effect to playing a few yards deeper and not having the space for Mohamed Salah and Mane to operate. I mean, it's a complex answer, but it's certainly part of the problem. Do I think Leicester will finish top four? Yes, and deservedly so. They've been playing some very good football this season and are building a very good squad there. And yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Sitting here just having to say yes to other clubs finishing in the top four and then saying I'm unsure about our own club. I honestly did not think I'd be sitting here in February even contemplating not finishing in the top four, let alone the top two. Should we buy Richarlison? He's a good player, but no, we're not going to buy him from Everton. Let's be honest about it. Right, look, ladies and gents, going to call that a night. Really appreciate your time as always. Again, thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We're heading towards 80k, which is the next milestone on the road to 100k, which, you know, fingers crossed we could get there before May, but we'll need your support to do it as always. Thank you to our sponsor, Boyle Sports. Thank you to you guys for your love and support. It's a shit time right now, folks, but it'll only get better from here. So let's stay focused, let's stay positive as much as we can, and thank you for everything. Enjoy your Sunday evening, and I will chat to you tomorrow. Take care, lots of love.